Hello and welcome to the briefing brought to you by Cyber Team 1. Today is August 12, 2026. In the next 10 minutes, we'll cut through the noise and bring you the cybersecurity intelligence that matters most to business leaders and defenders. Everything we cover comes from the past 7 days. And there's a thread running through this week that's worth naming up front. Attackers keep going after the systems that manage other systems. Not the database, but the tool that administers the database. Not the plant, but the network that connects to the plant. 4 of our 5 stories today follow that pattern, and it changes where you should be looking. Let's start with Microsoft. On Tuesday, Microsoft released fixes for 398 security flaws. That's a big number, and the temptation is to treat a big number as an emergency. Don't. Volume at this scale is just routine work, and burning an emergency change window on a routine month makes it harder to get one when you actually need it. The number that matters here is 1. Out of those 398, exactly 1 is confirmed to be under active attack right now. It's a flaw in a core Windows networking component that ships on every Windows machine. On its own, it doesn't get an attacker into your organization. They already need to be running something on the computer. What it does is turn that small foothold into complete control of that machine. And that's precisely the step that separates a contained incident from a company-wide one. It's the difference between an intrusion that stalls and an intrusion that spreads. 2 details make this worth prioritizing. First, this is the 4th time this same component has been attacked before a fix existed, going back to 2022, and one of the earlier ones was reportedly used by a state-linked group. Second, Microsoft patched 2 more flaws in the very same component this month, and rated both as likely to be attacked next. One more item in this batch is worth pulling out. It's a flaw in Windows deployment services, the role organizations use to install Windows across lots of machines at once. This one scores 9.8 out of 10, needs no password, and can be triggered remotely. Nobody's reported it being used yet. The reason it worries us is that deployment services is classic forgotten infrastructure. Someone switches it on to image a batch of laptops, and it keeps running for years on a server nobody owns and no inventory lists. A remotely exploitable flaw on a server nobody's watching is a worse position than a moderate flaw on one somebody is. Next, and this is the one to act on if you outsource your IT. We've been following a flaw in a product called N-Central across our last 2 editions. N-Central is the software managed service providers use to administer their customers' computers. First, we reported the patch that didn't fully work. Then, we reported customers being compromised. This week, we learned what that access is being used for. Microsoft's threat intelligence team says a China-based financially motivated group is now using it to deploy brand new ransomware. Microsoft's words are that this crew goes from breaking in to stealing data to encrypting everything, often within a few days. Here's why this matters even if you've patched everything you own. That console belongs to your provider, not to you. Compromising it isn't one breach. It's a position of trust over every customer that provider looks after, exercised through exactly the channel those customers have been told to expect administrative activity on. You can be completely up to date and still be exposed because the vulnerable system isn't yours. So the question to ask this week isn't, have we patched? It's a written question to your provider. Do you run this product? Which fix version is installed? Have you checked for signs of compromise? And critically, what can your tools actually do inside our network? Because that answer is your blast radius, and most organizations can't currently state it. One more thing on this. Earlier reporting on the same flaw described attackers leaving behind persistence on customer computers that survives the fix to the provider's server. So patching doesn't necessarily evict someone who's already in. Patch, then go looking. In another development, a government advisory worth your attention. On Monday, 6 United States agencies published a joint warning about a ransomware operation called Gunra. They include the FBI, the cybersecurity agency CISA, the National Security Agency, and the Secret Service. And co-signed with them, South Korea's National Police Agency. That last signature is why this lands in our region. A national police force doesn't co-sign something like this without cases of its own. Gunra started in April last year, and in January it turned itself into a business, renting its ransomware to other criminals with ready-made tools for Windows and Linux. It steals data first, then encrypts, then threatens to publish. Now, here's the part that should reframe your response. How does Gunra get in? 2 flaws in Fortinet firewalls, one public since 2024, the other since early last year. Both patched by the vendor long ago, both with government remediation deadlines that expired months ago. That is not a sophisticated adversary problem. It's an asset management problem wearing a threat actor costume. And there's no new patch to deploy and no clever technique to detect. The only question is, why an internet-facing security appliance is still unpatched 18 months after a fix shipped? And the usual answers are mundane. It wasn't on the inventory. It came in with an acquisition. It belonged to a branch office. Or the maintenance window kept slipping. So the test is simple. How many internet-facing security appliances do you run? Who owns each? And when was each last patched? If that takes more than a day to answer, the inventory gap is your finding. The sectors named are healthcare, financial services, government, and professional and non-profit organizations. Healthcare is listed first, and it's also the sector reporting the most data breaches in Australia. Next, something genuinely new for anyone running physical infrastructure. Poland's National Cyber Emergency Team published its findings on an attack against a combined heat and power plant, supplying heat to around 50,000 residents. It happened last December. The investigation took more than 3 months, and the results came out last weekend. Attackers got into a wind farm substation through a remote access gateway that was reachable from the internet with no multi-factor authentication. From there, they found a small industrial router with a mobile connection, and they tunneled through it into something called a private mobile network. That's a dedicated slice of a mobile carrier's network that the local electricity operator uses to reach equipment scattered across the countryside. Everybody assumes that network keeps devices separated from each other. It didn't. Any device on it could reach any other device. So the attackers used it to travel from the wind farm across to the heating plant, where they found an industrial controller still using its factory default password. 11 days later, they used it to stop a steam turbine and the water treatment system, and they locked the controllers so operators couldn't change them back. Poland's team says this is the first time anyone has observed a private mobile network being used this way in a real attack. And here's the sentence that makes it your problem. They surveyed operators, found this same misconfiguration was common in Poland, and said that as far as they know, similar setups are widely used in other countries too. Australian energy, water, rail and mining operators use these private mobile networks for exactly the same reason. If your assumption is that yours provides isolation, this report is direct evidence that the assumption needs testing rather than repeating. Under Australia's critical infrastructure obligations, a control you believe exists but have never verified is a gap in your program, not a technical footnote. 2 more lessons from that incident, and they're both about people rather than technology. Plant staff initially assumed a maintenance contractor had made a mistake because maintenance was happening that day. They filed it for information only. It became an incident because Poland's national team knew of similar events elsewhere and decided to investigate anyway. Information sharing is what turned a shrugged-off anomaly into a confirmed sabotage case. And when operators restored the controllers to get service back, they erased the logs. Siemens confirmed those logs could never be recovered. Recovery and evidence were in direct conflict at 5:30 in the morning, and nobody had decided in advance which one won. That's a policy decision you can make on a calm afternoon, and it's worth making. Briefly, to wrap up the week, SAP also released fixes on Tuesday, including one rated the maximum 10 out of 10. It's in a data integration component of SAP's commerce platform. It needs no credentials at all, and no one has reported it being attacked. Treat that as a prompt, plan change rather than an emergency. The first question isn't when you patch, it's whether you run the affected component and who owns it. Because integration components are where ownership is usually least clear. So, to summarize, patch the one Windows flaw that's actually being attacked, and don't let the other 397 distract you. If someone else manages your IT, ask them today about N-Central in writing. Count your internet-facing security appliances and check their patch dates. And if you run distributed physical infrastructure, go and test whether the devices on your private mobile network can reach each other. Test it, don't look it up. That's it for this edition of The Briefing. Stay alert, verify the facts, ask the hard questions, and we'll see you in the next one.